But no one that's doing better than you will criticize you or say negative things about you. The people that are doing better than you, the people that want you to succeed, that want you to really strive in life and just be the best version of yourself, will give you feedback. They will give you advice. They'll help you in other ways, but they will not be talking behind your back. They will not be criticizing you. Hello, my beautiful muses, and welcome back to this week's episode. If you've been watching me for any given time, thank you. I appreciate you. But you also know that when I make these little episodes that are shorter, it's because I want you to come back to these because I think that you'll need to hear this message over and over again in your lifetime. I know I need to hear it often. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode. If you're new here, thank you for joining me. I am Maria Fuentes, and I'm an emotional mastery and self-discovery mentor for women, and I help you become your own source of inspiration, allowing you to really embrace the muse within you. And if you've been listening to me for a while, again, thank you. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel or leave me a review here on my podcast. It will mean so much to me. And please share this episode with as many women as you can think of, because I want to impact the lives of other women in the ways that my life has changed for the better. And this episode is going to be about not really allowing the opinions of others to stop you, for you to really just embrace who you are a little more and stop caring about what other people think. And I don't think that to any extent we can completely stop caring about what other people think, because there's people in our lives that we actually do care for and we respect in our lives, and we actually do care about their opinions. But what I want you to get from this episode is a couple things, and I want you to start seeing people a little bit differently after this, because a lot of the times we get stuck in, what are they going to think of me? What are they going to say about me? It's because we think that person that might be talking about you or criticizing you is a little bit better than you. Maybe you look up to them in some way. Maybe you feel like they have something that you don't have. But I want to give you this really harsh reality, and I know you've probably heard this message before, but no one that's doing better than you will criticize you or say negative things about you. The people that are doing better than you, the people that want you to succeed, that want you to really strive in life and just be the best version of yourself, will give you feedback. They will give you advice. They'll help you in other ways, but they will not be talking behind your back. They will not be criticizing you. They won't have time for that. And the reason they won't have time for that is because they're constantly growing and evolving themselves. We only have so much energy in our day, in our life, and in our lifetime. And so when you just solely focus on being the best version of yourself and have blinders on and don't look left and don't look right, all you can focus on is the best version of yourself and how that's going to trickle in and trickle out to the people closest to you, and the effects it's going to have on other people, the positive effects it's going to have on other people. So right now you're feeling stuck and you're worried about what other people might think of you, or you're worried about what it's going to look like to somebody, or if they're going to criticize you, or so-and-so from high school, or so-and-so on my Facebook, or so-and-so on my Instagram. Ask yourself, why is this really bothering me? What would the opinion of this person mean to me or matter to me? Because at the end of the day, that person is probably not having a great life. If that person has to sit there and talk about you and criticize you, they're probably really unhappy with their lives. They're not happy with who they are. They're miserable. Like, people can only love you as much as they love themselves, but people will also criticize you as much as they criticize themselves. And so I don't criticize myself. I'm constantly growing and evolving and changing, but I don't criticize myself. I don't say things that are ugly to myself. My self-talk is amazing and full of self-love. And so think about the people that are criticizing you, that are saying negative things. The conversations they're having with themselves is not full of self-love. It's not full of reflection. It's not looking inwards. It's full of hate. So people also hate on you as much as they hate themselves. And so I really want you to shift that perspective when next time that you stop yourself from doing something that you want to do because you're worried about criticism, or you're worried about somebody else looking at you in a different way. Ask yourself, if that person talks about me negatively or says anything negative, how unhappy and how much ugliness is in their lives. And then this is going to be another portion, which is going to be the hardest part to actually have and obtain. And that's to have empathy for this person. And that's hard. I know it's hard because you're angry, you're frustrated, maybe you're sad even because you're like, why are you treating me like this? Why are you acting this way? When we feel anger, it's usually because something unfair is happening to us. So when we're feeling like somebody's talking about us or saying mean things about us or criticizing us, we think it's unfair. We're like, we wouldn't do that. I wouldn't act that way. Why would that person do this or do that? And so I want you to ask yourself, how can I have a little more empathy instead of anger? It's a harder emotion to tap into, especially when you're feeling angry or you're feeling like something has happened to you that's unfair, or that person saying really mean negative things about you, I want you to ask yourself, how can I have more empathy for this person? Because if you look at this person as somebody that's truly broken, as somebody that's truly unhappy with themselves, as someone that's truly unable to have any self-awareness or self-reflection or be able to grow and be better for themselves and for the people around them, what can you expect from them? You can't expect anything good from them. So you start really seeing people for the broken child that they are.
That stress that you're feeling, the overwhelm that you're feeling, the anxiety that you're feeling, it's all normal. And actually, so many women, we experience this on a daily basis. I know I did. For years, I was either overwhelmed with my emotions, of reacting to them, or I was numbing them and trying to escape the uncomfortableness of the emotions. And for the last 6 years, all I've done is create emotional mastery within myself, learn to love my emotions, process my emotions, and I created a free 4-step guide to help you do the exact same thing. You will learn to recognize your emotions, process your emotions, release your emotions, and then communicate your emotions to those closest to you so that you can cultivate healthy relationships with others, but most importantly, with yourself. The link is right here. Sign up now.
One of the biggest and toughest pills that I had to swallow was that I was living in my child self, in my hurt self, in my trauma self. In the years that I endured the most trauma, those are the years that I was stuck in. And it always came up in my relationships. It came up in the way that I acted and interacted with others, in the way that I wouldn't speak up for myself until I had too much, and then I would burst, in the ways that I thought that I shouldn't say anything because I never was allowed to talk when I was younger, in the ways that I felt like pain and hurt were just the norm, even though that isn't the norm, but that was the norm for me growing up. So the hardest pill I had to swallow was that there was a broken child in me that I had to nurture and love now and give all the things that she never received as my adult self. And so if you're listening to this and you resonate and you're like, yes, this is what I'm doing, I'm on this journey, and you're still allowing people that are hateful and not doing this work and not healing themselves to bring you down, ask yourself, how can I have more empathy for the broken child in them? Because that might be a little easier to do, to have empathy for the child parts of them versus the adult selves, right? When we think things are unfair and we don't like when adults are treating us a certain way, and we're the ones doing the work and we're the ones like breaking the generational curses and breaking through that trauma and doing all these different things, we're like, this is unfair. I need you to act like an adult. I need you to just, why would you be like this? Who acts like that? But then when we look at their broken child selves and we say, okay, that makes sense. I've seen mine, I've recognized mine, and I can see that you're still stuck in yours. But you're not the same. And I really want you to start practicing putting yourself on a higher standard and a higher value than these people, not in a sense of like I'm better than them or they're beneath me. But if you're working on yourself, that means that you energetically are consistently upgrading your energy, your thought process, your emotional intelligence, consistently growing in a rapid way. You're consistently bettering yourself. And so in a way, you are higher than them in that sense, right? You have more emotional intelligence. You think of things clearly. You're able to shift your perspective. You're continuously learning. Maybe you're getting out of your comfort zone. So you are in some way in higher level than them. And so would you allow somebody beneath you in some sense to bring you down? So if somebody's beneath you in some way, would you allow them to tear you down? Think of yourself as the queen of your kingdom, of your castle. A queen goes and speaks out to the public, and she wouldn't allow somebody that's just being hateful and screaming with dirt all over them, and it's hateful and that person's dirty and just doesn't care about themselves, to bring her down. If a person like that's screaming at a queen, she stays in her queen, right? She stays in her power. She doesn't allow that person to bring her down. The reason I want you to think about how to shift this perspective and think of yourself in a higher way, not in a better than that person way, but just in a higher energy frequency, is because then you don't relate to that. Then you can just let things bounce off of you. Then you could just be like, this doesn't resonate. Let me block, delete. You can block people out of your lives. I hope you know that. You can just say, I'm sorry, you're not allowed in my life. And to a certain degree, even if it's family members or people that you can't really completely delete out of your lives, you can set boundaries that allow and protect this energy that you're building. You're building this energy. You are the muse of your life, and you're creating this life that you've always desired. And it's going to take a lot of different boundaries, standards, empathy. The reason I want you to be empathetic is because if not, the opposite is to live in that anger and feel like you are either above them or you're talking down to them or you're angry at that person. But that's not love, and that's not your feminine energy. As women, we still need to stay in touch to our feminine energy. Even when those people talk about us, even when those people make us angry, even when those people just really just hurt us, we have to stay within our power. And in our power, what's the most powerful thing we can do is love. And you don't have to love that person. So that's why I'm asking you to look for empathy for that person, to see their broken child parts and have empathy for them, because that's a way of saying, I see you, I see your brokenness. Doesn't mean that I'm allowing it in my life, but I see it and I don't hate you. I'm not angry at you anymore. I see where you're at in life and I see how miserable you are. And you know what? I wish you well. I hope that you better yourself. I hope that you get better. And you are allowed to do that, and you're allowed to create that beautiful life for yourself. And so I'm going to leave this episode just like this, because I said I wanted to make it short and sweet. I want you to come back to this, because at any given time, through different phases of life and different seasons of life, you're going to have people that talk about you, that make you feel this way, that make you feel crappy, that make you angry. And I want you to come back to this video and remind yourself that you're the queen, you're the muse, you're up here, you're building yourself. You're building yourself every single day. You're taking all these different steps. That's the reason you're up here. You're not up here because you're better than anyone. You're up here because you're bettering yourself every single day, opposed to the people that are underneath you. So you wouldn't let someone on the first floor bring you down from the 100th floor. So I love you, muses. I cannot wait to talk to you guys next week. And thank you for tuning in this week. Bye.